Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Oh, we got a show today. We got a show today. All those other times I said we got a show, I was lying to you guys. Today we have a show. Shout out to the members who have chimed in on this beautiful show today. Said, Al, we got you, brother. We got you. What kind of topics do you need? We got you. Did a show around 7:15 this morning to get everything all set up and ready. So we're all good to go. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We got some cool topics going on today. A lot of it also has to do with just, some chatter around the NBA. Chatter is good. We like chatter. If you do a daily podcast about the NBA and the Lakers basketball, we like chatter. We got a lot of good stuff for the show tonight or today. And we got another show coming up tonight after the Lakers take on the Toronto Raptors. Unfortunately, in that one, fortunately for why Luka's missing the game, but unfortunately in the sense that the Lakers will not have Luka Doncic. So I'm looking forward to break everything down for everybody. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please do me a favor. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. Right when the show ended yesterday, we started kind of hearing all these different things. So I've been kind of waiting here to get a chance to get back behind a microphone and be able to talk some Lakers basketball with you guys and also just talk about the NBA. All right, let me give everyone just a quick breakdown what we got going on for the show today. Let me give everyone an idea of what some of the topics are going to be. And then I'll take a look at some of the comments, and then we'll keep things rolling. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to everybody sipping on their coffee, drinking some tea, get some good lemon water in there in the morning. I do lemon water. I'm going to wake up, get just a full glass of lemon water, and then I come in for the coffee. Second cup of Joe. All right, let me give everyone a quick breakdown of the show. Lakers got the Raptors coming up tonight. It's the start of a 3-game road trip. It's a tough road trip. We talked about this. They're finally facing some teams that are above 500. They did that on Monday against the Phoenix Suns, and they got ran. So Lakers got some work to do tonight. No Luka Doncic. Looks like Luka's back in Slovenia for the birth of his second child. So Luka going to go handle some family business. Lakers are going to try to handle some business in Toronto. Got to be honest with everybody, I'm not a fan of this matchup. I don't like this matchup, especially without Luka. So we'll break down the game. We'll get a chance to talk a little bit about that. Latest on Giannis. Is there any angle here for Giannis and the Lakers? I've said this before. I've said it plenty of times. There's only one way the Lakers are getting Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that's if Giannis Antetokounmpo says, I want to be a Los Angeles Laker. Well, right now, every single angle feels like it's going towards the New York Knicks. That doesn't mean that the Knicks are going to get him. But every day that goes by, it just seems like Giannis is getting closer and closer to leaving the Milwaukee Bucks. And the question is going to be, where's he going to end up? There are some, trade rumors, this, that, and everything else. What it would take for the Lakers to make a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. The question is just going to be, does Milwaukee have any interest? And I think more importantly, does Giannis have any interest in the Lakers? If you had to pick between the two franchises, the Lakers or the Knicks, and you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, which one is better for your career? We'll hit on that. I had some great angles from some of the members this morning of some reasons why it would be the Lakers or why it would be the Knicks. So we'll spend some time on that. Chris Paul, we know everything that went down the last 24 hours. Chris Paul, who, by the way, let me give everyone Chris Paul's stats here real quick on the season. Oh, Sliwa's taking a jab at Chris Paul. Chris Paul this season, 2.9 points, 1.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists. Yet he was the biggest story in the NBA for the last 24 hours, and I'm still trying to figure out why it was such a big story. I might be on an island. Maybe I just don't like Chris Paul. I don't know. I don't know what my angle is here. But damn, did he take over the airwaves for 24 hours? And I'm like, guys, Chris Paul didn't do anything. The Clippers were 5-16 before yesterday, and he's averaging just as many points as I am. Why is it such a big deal? We'll get into the Chris Paul angle. Plus, should the Lakers target Chris Paul? I saw something from Bobby Marks, who should be joining the show tomorrow, about potentially the Lakers targeting Chris Paul. There's a certain date. They got to wait to a certain date. Do Laker fans want to see Chris Paul on the Lakers? I don't. Damn, where did my hate just come from for Chris Paul? I don't want to see Chris Paul on the Lakers. We'll hit on that as well. NBA did their power rankings. I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. I'll show you where the Lakers are on ESPN. I've had a few people a couple different times. Slee, where's Sammy? Where's Sammy? Sammy does the preview videos. So before every Lakers game, he does a preview video. He's going to join the show at 8:30 and help us get ready for Lakers Raptors and Lakers Boston Celtics. So he's going to kind of hit on both games for us as we get ready for the weekend. So something to keep in mind there. I got a couple things around the NBA. NBA, there's a lot starting to kind of cook around the NBA. There was something I saw yesterday. Tim McMahon put out about LaMelo Ball, Ja Morant, Trae Young, that some of these guys could be potentially in the trade market. So there's some good NBA news that's out there as well. So thank you for being a part of the show. Let's take a look at a couple of the comments here, and then we'll get started. All right, let me see what we got here. Chris Paul, fake outrage by the media is unbelievable. Then again, it's knowing the lamestream media. What happened yesterday? I mean, everybody was going so crazy about Chris Paul, and I can't believe this and this and that. I'm like, the guy's literally doing nothing for the Clippers. And if you're doing nothing, but you got that loud of a voice, I mean, imagine somebody who's not productive at all at their job. But my God, his voice won't shut up. You know what eventually happens? There's executives and business people that are like, why is this guy here? Isn't that what happened to CP3? CP3 should have stayed with the Spurs. You might be right about that one. Lakers do not have enough assets to pull the trade off. I'll show you guys what some of the assets are that are being rumored out there to go try to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm not making that trade, but don't tell the Milwaukee Bucks that. Stuck in traffic on the 405 South. Listen, man, just kick back, take your time, do those like 10 deep breaths. Those always help. 10 just full deep breaths. Somebody in the car next to you is going to be looking at you like, what's this guy doing? Just say, Slee told me to deep breath when I'm in traffic. It's hard to be hungry when you have. It's hard to be hungry when you have. You know what? That's kind of funny. I just recently, I'm going to get the show started right after this. By the way, Ocean Breeze, thank you for the quote. For the first time, I was, listen, guys, I had no choice. I had to get Peacock. I had to pay the, what is it, $10.99 a month. I was trying to go for as long as I can. I had to get Peacock. There's NBA games, there's NFL games. I had to get it. And the first time I'm watching on Peacock, I saw the Jordan interview, and Jordan was basically trying to say, like, when you got what you need, it's tougher to get up. Who's the great boxer that said something? It's tough to get up and get hit in the face when you're sleeping in silk sheets. So anyways, that's a good quote right there. All right, let's get things started. Let's get started here with and that is the Jordan quote. So I don't think he stole it. I think he was crediting Michael Jordan for that quote right there. Okay, so Lakers got the Raptors tonight. Let's hit on that for a quick second, and then we'll go from there. They freaking got me. By the way, Marvin Hagler, beautiful. Thank you for throwing in. It was Marvin Hagler, and beautiful right here. I've yet to get Peacock. I don't blame you. I mean, I didn't have a choice. It just came down to, all right, I got to go make this happen. Lakers got the Raptors tonight. Let's just talk a little bit about this game tonight. I don't like this game at all, if I'm being honest with everybody, especially without Luka. I don't really think I liked this game. I wasn't crazy about this game with Luka. I thought it's kind of maybe a 50-50 game. Now without Luka, it's going to be really, really difficult. And then we'll get into some of the other topics, but I'll specifically get into Giannis right after this. So Lakers got Raptors tonight. Luka back in Slovenia, birth of a second child. At least that's what's being reported out there. Some rumors out there in regards to that. Just randomly yesterday, Luka was on the Lakers report that he is not available for the game, personal reasons. And then Marcus Smart is also out in this game as well. How did the Lakers compete with Toronto? So I'll let Sammy kind of break down what the Raptors are, but they're 15-7. They got talent. They got exactly what the Lakers don't like facing. Tall, athletic, young, can guard multiple positions. They're not just depending on one player. They got Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes. They got a few different players that can contribute for them. So I think tonight's going to be a really tough game. I really do. I'm not a fan of this matchup without Luka. How do Lakers win the game? I want to hit on that, and then, or how do Lakers make it competitive? I want to hit on that, and then I want to talk about something specifically about LeBron, and then we'll keep things moving from here. How do the Lakers compete with the Raptors? They've done this before. I mean, I think what was the foundation of the Lakers season early in the year, if you guys remember this, how the Lakers kind of got a lot of heads churning early in the season was not Luka 40-point performances, was not Austin Reeves 40-point performances. It was, wait a minute, they don't have Luka and Austin Reeves and LeBron in a game and they still won at Portland. Or Luka's out for a couple of games and they still won games at Sacramento. I know Sacramento's trash. With Austin Reeves putting up some good numbers. What made the Lakers so impressive early in the season, and I think we're talking about it less because we've had Luka and we've had Austin Reeves, and LeBron obviously has worked his way back into the lineup as well. But what made a lot of people so impressed with the Lakers early in the season was they were winning games without their stars. They're going to have to try to do it again. Now, I think that, a lot of teams out there have a good idea of what the Lakers are, what's their foundation, how they win specific games. So I think there's going to be less surprises when the Lakers roll out their lineup tonight. But Austin Reeves has almost got to be that player that leads the way again for the Lakers, and he's got to have one of those 35, 40-point performances, and Ayton's got to be big, and Rui's got to be big, and LeBron and Jake LaRavia. You're going to have a true team performance tonight if you're beating the Toronto Raptors. It ain't going to be easy, obviously, without Luka. The bigger question for me, or just as big of a question, is what does LeBron look like tonight? Guys, let me go back to Monday real quick. And I said this right after the game, on Tuesday when we got a chance to talk. Yesterday, I think we hit on it a little bit when Keith Smith was on. By the way, how great is Keith when he's on? Keith is so polished, so great, so knowledgeable. But I know we hit on, for me, after the game on Monday against the Phoenix Suns, it's like, yes, they're just kind of look at the Lakers and yes, they lost to the Phoenix Suns, and Devin Booker wasn't even there for 3 quarters, and Colin Gillespie, and you got Dylan Brooks putting up 30 plus. But to me, one of the biggest storylines I walked away from the game was what's going on with LeBron. The guy looked like he was 40. The guy looked like he's about to turn 41. LeBron was so bad against Phoenix, and it wasn't one of those games where he's moving around well. He just can't find a shot. He's just making poor decisions, and he ended up with 6 or 7 turnovers, and he shot 5 of 15 or 5 of 20 from the field. No, that wasn't the problem. I don't care if LeBron has a bad game. LeBron looked old. He wasn't moving around well. Nothing he was doing was smooth. He looked like he was 40 years old. That was my biggest concern with LeBron. I'm so curious to see what LeBron looks tonight, what he looks like. And by the way, here's the other thing that I don't know, and I got no idea here, and we'll have to wait and see. One of the things that I'm curious about in tonight's game is, all right, how does LeBron look? Was that just one bad game? Was he just tired for a game, even though he didn't play in a second of a back-to-back? Was LeBron feeling the vibe of the game and saying, yeah, we're probably not going to win this game anyways? I don't know. But I would say keep a close eye on LeBron tonight, and let's see what LeBron brings to the table. But I think it's impossible not to have some concerns about LeBron and see if that was just one game, or could this be a consistent trend for LeBron this season or in the first half of the season? That's another thing that I'm watching. By the way, if LeBron plays tonight, which is he's expected to, does that mean he doesn't play tomorrow against Boston? Does he not play in a second of a back-to-back? So something else to keep in mind there. Okay, I'm going to take a look at a couple of the comments here, and then I want to get into some Giannis stuff and start making the argument. Is there any is there any chance if Giannis is making a decision between the Milwaukee or the New York Knicks or the Los Angeles Lakers, what are some of the cases of why the Lakers are better? What are some of the cases of why the New York Knicks would be better? So we'll do that coming up here in just a second. Glazing him, man. See, you're always glazing Braun. By the way, that's not even a comment from today. That's still from about 3 days ago. That's still one of my favorite comments. You give one compliment, you're glazing it, man. You say anything critical, why you hating on LeBron? It's my new favorite voice. All right, I got a couple here. Next man up. Slee, it's still early. It's still early. Your optimism kills me. We're 15-5 for a reason, just like your show. This team is different. Have faith. I'm assuming what you're trying to say is I don't have that much optimism in the game tonight. Tonight's a tough game, brother. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I mean, you have Luka Doncic in the game against, I think, a good talent. There are certain matchups that I think the Lakers struggle with. And this is going to be something that, obviously they're going to have to figure out. And maybe there's a solution to it. Maybe there's not. If I said the Lakers are taking on a team that's young, athletic, good length, good size, guys that guard multiple positions, there's a fast pace, run up and down the floor, and then I told you they don't have Luka, are you going to say, oh, that's perfect for the Lakers? Obviously, you're not going to say that. So, look, I've been the one praising 15-5 as a phenomenal start. I think yesterday, what was I saying? The grades that were out there, first quarter grade, CBS gave Lakers a B+. How are you giving a higher grade to Houston and Denver than the Lakers? So I'm all in on how the Lakers have started, but we're isolating one game without Luka. Tough game tonight. Tough game. All right, let's get some more in here. Who's going to guard Scotty Barnes? So I'm assuming Gabe Vincent's going to start. If Luka's not in there, who they putting in? Maybe Jake? Are they putting LaRavia in there? You got to have some size. Is this the game they dust off Jared Vanderbilt and say, go get your opportunity tonight? By the way, this should be a game where Vando plays. This should definitely be a game that Vando plays. All right, let's see what else we got here. LeBron has gotten old. Also, can we talk about why Rui is playing out of position? Like, Rui's always out of position. He's a third on a team with LeBron AD. Now Luka, LeBron. Luka plays the 4. I don't know, but I will tell you this. He 100% needs to have a game tonight. They got to have a really, really good game from him tonight. All right. Yeah, a couple people in here talking about Marcus Smart, how Marcus Smart has not been available. Was it worth getting Smart? He's always hurt. I still think it's worth it. Keith yesterday was talking about how thinking of the Boston days, the Celtics days. And I think at the end of the day, you're just going to kind of take your chances with Marcus Smart. You didn't have to get much. You didn't have to give up anything to get him. I'll take my chances with Marcus Smart, knowing that health is an issue, but you don't need him healthy on December 4th. You need him healthy April 4th. So let's hope some of that kind of plays to the Lakers' advantage down the road. By the way, I don't know if it's going to, but let's see if some of that plays to the advantage with the Lakers down the road. All right, shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. What do we got here? Got the sweater on. There we go. Look at that little Nike hoodie right there. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Got to get back in their studio here pretty soon. Enjoy doing the show from in there. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. That's it. Very simple. You're in the state of California. You need an injury attorney. Something goes down with the fam or a friend or anything along those lines. You just tell them, hey, I got an angle for you. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. If you go to the website, free consultation. Right, look at us. We built out our own little website. Free consultation. You got some of the details here. Get your questions answered. No win, no fee. So if they don't win your case, you don't pay a fee. Phone number right here as well. And I've mentioned this before. He's been a very, very loyal partner. I can't tell you guys how critical it is. Listen, I'm off on my own. I'm not obviously working for a big business or anything like that. And I can't explain to you guys how critical it is to have not just partners, but the right partners with your business to try to do what I'm trying to do here on this channel. So shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Again, no pressure at all, but if a serious injury, wrongful death case, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. By the way, we got a new partner coming in here pretty soon. I'm going to have to share some details here. Again, this is another long-term partnership that I've had for a while. I think they're going to start in mid-December. I'll give you guys some more details on that here coming soon. All right, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here's the latest on Giannis. All right, everywhere you look right now, everywhere you turn, Giannis Antetokounmpo, what is he going to be doing? Yesterday, I heard Brian Windhorst talking specifically. He's like, Giannis has already, and by the way, there are 5 deals that will alter the NBA title race. I thought that, or I saw that earlier on the Giannis, on an ESPN article on Giannis. Here's the one thing that I will say in regard to Giannis Antetokounmpo. The question has nothing to do, and if you guys have listened to me consistently on this show, I've always said this. It's not a matter of if Giannis is going to leave the Bucks. It's just a matter of when. That's it. I mean, the writing's been on the wall for a while. Giannis has said things in the past that's told everybody, guys, look, I want to compete for championships. If the Bucks were number 2 in the Eastern Conference and had a legitimate shot at winning a championship this year, then I think Giannis would be happy with staying in Milwaukee. They don't. They're not. And they're clearly, the future for them. I thought the Miles Turner, I thought the waving, stretching Damian Lillard, all these are just panic moves. It's like you're in a relationship and she's basically giving you every signal, hey, she's about to leave. And you're like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy her that. It's over, brother. It's just a matter of time. So it's just a ticking time bomb here. Now the question is, if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, are you demanding a trade somewhere else? I will say this did not kind of help things yesterday. I don't know what to make of this, but Giannis yesterday, he's getting an MRI on his right calf injury, so something to keep in mind there. Here's the question, and I've also been pretty consistent in this, and I do believe this with Giannis. The question is he going to angle to be with a specific team? And a lot of these reports are saying that he's angling to try to get to New York. He's angling to try to be a New York Knick. That's the angle that we've been hearing from everybody else out there, that he tried going. There was some conversations between the Knicks and the Bucks in the offseason. Doc Rivers can deny it and everything else, but you got all these major, whether it's Shams, Brian Windhorst, all these other people talking about Giannis and his willingness to want to potentially leave the Milwaukee Bucks and then eventually try to find his way to the New York Knicks. Here's a question I'm going to throw out to everybody. And listen, I'm going to share this article with everybody here because this just kind of angles some of the different teams that are being rumored out there. And, my biggest question and the thing that I've tried to be consistent on, the only way I think Giannis comes to the Lakers is if Giannis says, I want to be a Laker. And if that doesn't happen, then I got a difficult time figuring out how Giannis is going to be a Laker. Here's this article. 5 Bucks deals to alter the NBA title race. So I'm just going to share this with everybody here. Here's one of the Atlanta Hawks. Giannis and Cole Anthony, Trae Young, and then you could see a list of picks that go back to the Bucks. Here's one. Houston. Damn. Şengün to the Bucks, Fred VanVleet, a pick. Giannis and, of course, his brother end up with Houston. Knicks. Giannis goes. Bucks get Karl Anthony Towns, some other talent, and then a handful of picks. By the way, if I'm the Knicks and you're able to keep Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, you're able to keep all those other kind of pieces. Oh, my God. Makes sense for the Knicks. And then here's the last one that I saw on here. The Spurs get Giannis. And then look at all the talent and the assets that the Spurs have. This would be completely unfair if the San Antonio Spurs got this done. And then did did they have? Okay. And then the last one on here was a deal that brought put the Warriors in the mix. They give up a ton of picks. Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga. The Bucks are in panic mode. And here's the one question that I will bring up in regards to this, and we could kind of have this conversation. I've seen deals out there where the Lakers would give up Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, pick swaps, all that stuff. I do think Austin Reeves has made a phenomenal case for himself that he could be a really, really nice player on a team. And frankly, I think if Austin Reeves worked his way to the Milwaukee Bucks, I think he could have a really good career in Milwaukee and be one of the focal points of a team. Obviously, that's not enough to go, make some real noise. But I think Austin Reeves is going to be a really, really good player. Lakers just don't have enough assets. And I know there's going to be people trying to angle, no. Yeah, they have assets because if they give up this guy and then they got the draft and the pick swaps, and they don't have enough assets. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm not looking at the Lakers and saying this is a legitimate, I have interest in what this team has to offer. The bigger question, I think, is, does Giannis have interest in LA? And if Giannis has been vocal already about wanting to be a New York Knick, and I have to compare the two franchises and ask the question of, is Giannis better off with the New York Knicks or is he better off with the Los Angeles Lakers? Can I make a case here just for the Lakers here real quick? That if he wants to angle to go to a specific team, here's the question that I would ask. Do I want to play the next 5 years of my career with Jalen Brunson or Luka Doncic? Guys, I don't think this is even a question. And I'm no disrespect to Jalen Brunson. He ain't on the level of Luka Doncic. Okay, that's one angle that I would say here. Does Giannis want to play with an ownership under James Dolan, or does Giannis want to play under an ownership of Mark Walter and his group that just took over the Los Angeles Lakers? And whether you like it or not, the Lakers are going to eventually figure out how to be competitive for years to come. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it just like baseball? Of course it's not. But winners find a way to win. And if you're comparing, let's compare superstar on one team to superstar on the other team. You can't compare the two. Jalen Brunson and Luka are not in the same conversation. If you're comparing ownership to the other ownership, I don't think there's maybe you could say there's comparison in the sense that Mark Walter and his group haven't owned the Lakers for 10 years and they have this track record. But I think that it's safe to say they run a good business. They know what the hell they're doing, and they've had success 10 minutes away from where Crypto.com Arena is at Dodger Stadium. All right, now you kind of start looking at which one is a better destination. If Giannis is in New York versus if Giannis is in LA, which one would be a better destination? You know what? Maybe that one's a toss-up. The New York Knicks brand is a phenomenal brand. I think one thing that the Knicks have that I think is New York, I think that is unique that the Lakers don't have. The Knicks haven't won an NBA championship since the 70s. So a championship in New York, naturally, because it's been so long since they've won an NBA championship or got to the NBA Finals, but yes, it's been a while for that as well. I think there is uniqueness in that. I think there's a uniqueness in, well, if I just win one in New York or get to the NBA Finals or am competing for an NBA championship in New York, that outweighs. I mean, if the Lakers get to an NBA Finals with Giannis and Luka Doncic, again, I'm speaking out of my you-know-what. It's like, all right, they were there 5 years ago. The franchise has 17 NBA championships. The only thing that matters is the Celtics and the Lakers. How many can you have? That part, I think, is unique to New York. And I do think the brands are both very, very powerful. I think the fact that the Knicks have not won in so long, there's an angle there for Giannis to be this hero. There's an angle there for Giannis to, if I just get one in New York, it's more powerful than getting one in LA because the Lakers have been obviously so good for so many years and have won so many championships over the last 30, 40 years. But if I'm trying to make a case, if I'm Giannis and I'm weighing, if I'm making all right, I got to get to one team. I got to pick between the Lakers and the Knicks. I want to play with Luka before I want to play with Jalen Brunson. I want to play for this new ownership that the Lakers have more than I want to play for Dolan. Those would be the two arguments that I would make. Then I think you could start making some arguments and saying, all right, which one's better for my brand? Both are phenomenal for your brand. I mean, listen, I get the Lakers brand and that logo. The Knicks got a very, very good brand as well. And if they're winning, that's also an unbelievable brand. If the other angle comes down to, all right, now I'm looking at this from what would it mean to New York and their brand competing for a championship compared to, the Lakers and their brand? The Knicks are more desperate for a championship because they haven't had one since Phil Jackson was a player in New York in the 70s. Be fascinating. Listen, some of the teams that I listed on there, what if he went to the San Antonio Spurs? You're not going to tell me that that's not a phenomenal organization for him to go to? What if there's other brands out there or other franchises out there that, certainly can make a case? I don't think he's going to Atlanta. I don't think he's going to. The Warriors are kind of an interesting case. Here's the problem with the Warriors. Your window's not a big window. Your window is right now. Where I think with the case of some of these other teams, I think the Knicks got a bigger window. I think the Lakers got a bigger window because Luka's only 26 years old. So watching Giannis is going to be fun. Seeing what happens is going to be fun. Talking on a podcast about Giannis is really, really fun. The only angle I see for the Lakers having a shot at Giannis is Giannis demanding he wants to go to LA. And up to this point, we haven't seen any of that. The only rumors that have been out there is that Giannis is technically, in a sense, trying to work his way to the New York Knicks. So I said this from the beginning, and I'll say it again. It's not if he leaves the Bucks. It's when he leaves the Bucks, because he's going to leave the Bucks. The question is it going to be this season or is it going to be in the offseason? I don't think it's getting past the next offseason. Okay. Let's take a look here real quick. What breaks NBA more? OKC gets number one pick or Giannis? I think Giannis. I think OKC getting the number one pick would just be like, all right, well, there's another asset for them to build off of. Giannis, one of the top 3-4 players in the NBA getting traded somewhere. That's obviously big time news. That's big time news. All right, let's welcome in. Listen, we're talking big time news. Here's some big time news. Got Sammy Long joining the damn show. The people asked, we deliver.
Alan Sliwa.
What's up, Sammy? What's up, brother?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Okay, listen, let me give you a little background here. Can I give you a little bit of love? I want to give you some credit here, but I don't know what happens to Sammy. Is he a humble man? Does he walk out? Does he walk out the streets and start saying, you see, the channel is all asking about. I'm not kidding here. This week, I've had some of the comments here. Hey, Slee, where's Sammy? And I had to explain to them, listen, Sammy, what do you mean where's Sammy? Sammy's there before every Lakers game, but we had to bring you back in here, so the people have asked and we've delivered. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I appreciate that. Thank you, all the people. Well, I watch every morning, so I'm a fan like everyone else. So it's awesome to be back. And Lakers playing well, 15-5. Maybe Giannis to LA. I got my coffee in honor of Sliwa this morning, so it's a good day to be a Laker fan.
All right, cheers to you. Cheers to you. Okay, so you heard what I was babbling about there for the last 5 minutes or so. What do you make of? First off, do you agree the Giannis thing? It's just a matter of time. Like he's leaving the Bucks. It's just a question of where he's going. But when I bring up the angle of, look, if he's demanding to play in New York, there's obviously a reason for it. He's angling for it. Maybe it's, closer to home, so it's a quicker trip if he goes to Greece or Athens or whatever his angle is. And it's, listen, the trade proposal out there about Karl Anthony Towns and then a load of picks, if you can keep OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart and Jim, I mean, if I'm the Bucks, I'm trying to get some of these other pieces, whether I'm keeping them for myself or I'm throwing them off. But you heard kind of my angles with the Lakers and the Knicks and new ownership and everything else. Just kind of give me your thoughts and your opinion.
So New York makes a lot of sense. If you're from Giannis, it makes sense that you look at the Eastern Conference like in years past, you thought, okay, Boston's going to have a dynasty. And then Indiana last year kind of coming out of nowhere, Halliburton, all these guys young. But with Boston kind of blowing it up a little bit, You have Tyrese Halliburton with the injury. You have Jason Tatum with the injury. Like the Knicks is kind of, we could see if he went to the Knicks, you could see a LeBron in the Eastern Conference where there just really wasn't much competition. If you think of all those LeBron teams that when he was in the Eastern Conference, outside of the Pacers with Paul George and Lance Stevenson that one year, and some of those Celtics teams, it was kind of a foregone conclusion he was getting to the finals. That's what it would be like in my estimation, especially if they're able to keep, if it's Karl-Anthony Towns and you have Jalen Brunson and him, like who's stopping that in a pick and roll? But this is one of the rare circumstances where I feel like the fact that he's in the Eastern Conference, the fact that he's a Milwaukee Buck, it actually works out for the Lakers because they don't want to trade him to the Knicks. Why do they want to watch the Knicks dominate their conference for the next 5 or 6 years? And usually when you have a team like the Lakers, whether it's the NFL like the Cowboys or the NFL or MLB like the Yankees or Dodgers, a lot of other teams don't want to help those teams, and the Lakers fall into that because of the amount of winning they've done. But this is a rare scenario that if he wants to be in a big market and the Bucks are going, there's no way we're trading you to New York to go, regain New York, have to be dominated by you all those years. The Lakers would be an obvious choice. I thought your point about, Golden State's interesting. But then if you're Giannis, knowing those guys are old.
Small window.
Right. Like San Antonio, to your point, I think would be make a lot. Like that would be scary. Wemby and him. And I saw a trade package. Like I thought it would start with Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and picks. Apparently, they wouldn't even need to include both of them in that. So if you were able to keep Castle and Fox and Wemby and Giannis, I think they.
Well, by the way, if I'm the Bucks too, if I'm trying to get the most I can, and like you said, I think there's certain franchises, whether you like it or not. And by the way, somebody here is saying Brunson and Luka are not as far apart as you think. Let me, and I'm not trying to disrespect Jalen Brunson, but if the Lakers traded Anthony Davis for Jalen Brunson, let me just use that as an example. Just think about, it would be a big story. It's a big story. Mm-hmm. It's 1/50th the story as trading for Luka Doncic. Oh. And that's, I guess, my point. It's not that Jalen Brunson's not a good player. Luka's generational talent. What's wild is both of those guys were on the same team together in Dallas.
Draft class.
Oh my God. And both on the same squad in Dallas. But let me go back to, I want to play the kind of Milwaukee angle for a quick second. If you're the Bucks and I'm trying to make a trade, and let's say you don't want him, like you said, I don't want him to go to New York. I don't want him to be with the Lakers. And now every primetime game I got to watch, it's Milwaukee, it's Giannis and Luka Doncic and the marketing and the this, and they're going on a deep playoff run. Not to say that San Antonio wouldn't go on a deep playoff run, but I do think there is something about some of these franchises saying, I would rather see San Antonio win with Giannis than I would New York or I would LA. Here's the other piece of it. San Antonio's got real assets. So I think the question is, because here's what's going to happen to the Milwaukee Bucks if they trade Giannis. Immediately, you're now saying this is a completely new chapter, and we got to just completely rebuild. What players can I get that I know are going to be a Buck for the next 5 years, 7 years, whatever the case is? So you're trying to get as many kind of young talent. Is Karl-Anthony Towns going to be a Buck for the next 5-7 years? I don't think so. So I think that's now Austin Reeves. I think would be. I think Reeves you can make a case for.
Back?
What's that?
You think he'd sign back? Because I know some people have made that he's a free agent, so people kind of think like, is he that valuable? Because could Milwaukee retain him?
I think the only way, first off, they're now having to sell to their fan base. Giannis is gone, and here's Austin Reeves now. So I don't think that's the best selling point. But I think they don't make a move unless they know Austin Reeves is going to be there, from a long-term perspective. So listen, it's fascinating to watch. Do you agree with how much do you think, if I'm Giannis, am I keeping in mind new ownership?
Oh, I think it's everything. I think it's just Giannis, he got Milwaukee a title. It's understandable. He's watched, by the way, he played with a guy in Dame Lillard. And this is not a shot at Dame Lillard. I understand the respect of you want to play for an organization the whole time. Kobe did it. And, obviously Kobe won championships in LA. And there's something honorable in that you really kind of stay with your team. And I get that. But Dame probably also goes, damn, I wish a few years earlier when I was a little bit more in my prime, I probably would have requested out of Portland, and maybe he has a ring. He did it probably too late. Now he had, the injury, and now he's back in Portland, probably not winning a ring the rest of his career. I just think there's always been this narrative that if you're Milwaukee, you can't trade Giannis. You can't trade Giannis because you're not a sexy market. You're not a sexy place. Right. Look at baseball. I mean, look at the Angels. The Angels had Shohei Ohtani, and everyone goes, you can't trade Shohei Ohtani. What are you doing? Marketing, all this stuff. Well, you could have bit the bullet and traded him the Dodgers and took the entire farm system. Everyone they had, all the young talent, and at least he would have had something to sell to the fan base.
Knowing that he was going to leave.
Knowing he was going to leave.
Yeah.
And so I think if we compare sports, this whole you can't trade a star if you're a small market. Well, he's going to leave anyway. He's making that very clear. So if you could actually take something back and kind of rebuild something, Milwaukee could be relevant 3 to 4 years from now versus losing him for nothing. And Milwaukee's at the bottom of the league for the next 8 seasons.
Here's what's funny. In the summer, I was trying to make the argument, trade him in the summer, last summer. And my point was, you're going to have more teams that know they got there are going to be some teams out there that are going to have to pitch to Giannis the long-term plan, right? Oh. But there would be more teams involved because they'd get him for at least 2 years. And then Giannis, if he decided to leave, he can leave. I thought you would have had a bigger pool of potential trade candidates if you traded Giannis last summer. Don't go stretch Damian Lillard for the $100 million. Don't do that. Let Dame's contract just come to an end and it's off the books in 2 years. Don't go chase Miles Turner, a guy that wasn't going to make a difference for you, either way. You're chasing something that ain't there. And I get people would say, you can't trade a star, this, that. Guys, the Bucks already won a championship. Their first championship. You already accomplished everything you possibly wanted to accomplish with Giannis. And now if Giannis is telling you it's time to leave, then go get the young assets to start to, what's funny? I thought what might happen when we saw Dallas got the number 1 pick and we saw Spurs got the number 2 pick after the draft lottery. I'm maybe that's the assets to start using to go make a move with the Milwaukee Bucks that you can kind of start your new cornerstone of a franchise and reset and tell you, listen,
you have something to sell to the fan base. That's not young.
And here's what you tell the fan base. You hadn't won a championship in 50 years. We won you a championship. There's a little bit of look, you're not the Lakers and the Celtics. You're not creating championships that often. Mission accomplished. We got to now do what's best for the franchise. We got to look for the future. So, it's fascinating. It's fun to talk about, but
to something you said earlier, now I'm thinking about it. You have the Knicks piece of that. He's in the Eastern Conference. So Milwaukee, from a perspective, goes, I don't want to trade him there. I wonder how the Lakers, considering that everyone's like, how the F did the Lakers get Luka Doncic for the amount of pick? The Lakers should have no picks to trade. The Lakers should have 0 assets to trade if the real compensation they should have got back for Luka, but Nico Harris and all that. You wonder if that plays into, do we even want to deal with the Lakers creating a juggernaut? That's, I think, where the Spurs conversation comes in. People have talked about Oklahoma City, the amount of picks they have, the amount of assets they have. They have the ability to make a deal like this. But is anyone really going to trade Oklahoma City to pair with Shea and literally watch them win the next 5 NBA championships? I think that would be a disservice to the league, and I doubt a lot of teams would want to do that.
All right. So one of the other things to kind of keep mentioned here, and we'll talk a little bit about, I want you to break down Lakers, Raptors, and a little bit of Lakers, Celtics tomorrow. So we'll do that in just a second. What did you make? And I want to give my opinion on this as well. But the Chris Paul stuff came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And by the way, anybody wants to chime in on the Chris Paul stuff, you could start hitting on it. And I'll look at some more of these comments as we get towards the end of the show. But the Chris Paul story yesterday, basically the Clippers send him home. I got to be honest with you, and I was a little confused by this. And then let me also say this, because I think it's important to make note of this. This is what Bobby Marks wrote yesterday. Bobby Marks, by the way, joining the show tomorrow, front office insider for ESPN. Here's what Bobby Marks said. He said the Los Angeles Lakers have an open roster spot and could be an option next month, but they are not allowed to sign a 15th player until January 19th, which if you have interest in Chris Paul, it doesn't matter when you sign him, just because, obviously from an age perspective and mileage, you want him fresh for closer to the end of the season than you want him on December 4th. I got two things on this. Number one, I'm going to ask you the question if you would have interest in bringing Chris Paul in. And then anybody on the chat, you guys want to chime in on Chris Paul, feel free to throw it in right now. I have 0.0 interest in Chris Paul. I don't know what it is, but like me reading all those stories yesterday about Chris Paul, the bigger story to me is like, why is this such a big story?
Yeah.
Chris Paul has been nothing to the Clippers this season. And I'm not trying to go after his career or anything like that, but he's not productive at this stage of his career. Maybe it's because it's with the Clippers, whatever the case is. He's probably one of the loudest voices in the room and least productive player. That's not a great combination. Obviously, it's just his mindset is still all-star Chris Paul. That's how he kind of perceives himself. One of the smartest players to play in the league in a long time. I am, no question about it, not trying to add Chris Paul to this team. If I'm trying to add anything to this team with that 15th roster spot, it's a defender, it's somebody who's younger, it's somebody with length, it's somebody that could play both sides of the floor. I want nothing to do with Chris Paul.
100% agree with you. I listen, from the Clipper standpoint, I think why it's such a big story is the way they handled it. You're on the road. You could basically cut him overnight. This is, if you're a Clipper fan, this is one of your guys. This is one of the made the Clippers relevant, Lob City, despite only getting to the second round in the Western Conference playoffs. Like, but they were a relevant team. They were a fun team to watch.
Oh, that team was legit. Absolutely. Legit. But that was how long ago?
A long time ago.
That's my point. I understand what he was in the past, but I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the present.
Right. And I think I'm surprised they did it because the Clippers are so bad. Now, I will give the Clippers a little, and I'm not a Clipper guy whatsoever, but I will give them a little something. The way they handled it, I thought was wrong. I think all of this whole, he's not, Ty Lue and him have beef. They're not talking. You cut him while he's on the road. You don't even have the service to kind of bring him in and do it in Los Angeles, considering what he's done for your organization. I do think, though, there can be sometimes a little bit of when GMs and owners take care of their stars a little too much, like way past their prime. We've seen this in the NFL. We've seen this in every major sport, and we get it. They're fan favorites, but maybe they get a little overpaid because the fans love them or because of what they did 5 to 7 years before. Like, to your point, Chris Paul is not a good player anymore. He's averaging like 3 points a game. And not that he couldn't come in a situation and be the old Chris Paul, but I'm with you. I don't see it from a Laker perspective. Luka's bringing the ball up. Austin Reeves bringing the ball up. Where is he going to fit in? He's not a scorer anymore. He's in. I think the other part of this is 3 years ago, if LeBron said he wanted someone, they go get him. And there's already been – he's best friends with Chris Paul. Now, the Lakers have made a total shift that this is Luka's team, not LeBron's team anymore. And by kind of not – offering LeBron the extension, all this stuff, I think it's very telling if the Lakers go kind of get LeBron's guy for nothing for a 15th roster spot, or if they go, no, we're going to go, to your point, let's go get someone that actually might be able to contribute if people get injured. I'm with you. I would stay away from Chris Paul.
It's why I don't think it's going to happen either, is because, like, by the way, this article that I was reading, who put this out? The article that came out, kind of the Lakers linked to a 12-time All-Star point guard to play alongside LeBron James. Instantly, when I read that, I'm like, first off, they're not adding anybody to play with LeBron. Like, they're not. I mean, I'm going to let's be frank with each other. They're not making decisions based on what LeBron wants. And when I'm reading the front of this article, I'm like, what is it, 2021? Like, right. We're not in the present day talking. We could even, this has nothing to do with, put LeBron on the side, not a problem. All good. LeBron is here. He's here for the rest of the season. All good. We'll see what happens after that. I just don't see a basketball reason why you're bringing in Chris Paul. I
Right.
don't. Like that's not your need. I think what it does is it's a storyline. I think the relationship with Chris Paul and LeBron, I think there's all that stuff. That stuff's all fine. By the way, you could also even say JJ Redick and Chris Paul. You could even, add those storylines together. But to be honest with you, I would see JJ Redick like, I don't think I need another voice like that in here. I just
Right.
need to get talent, and I need to have some players that I can go to, and I'm not going to be able to go to Chris Paul.
The Lakers don't have a selling tickets problem. If you're the Charlotte Hornets and you go, hey, Chris Paul's on the team, people go, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's cool. Chris Paul's throwing on a jersey, legend, Hall of Famer. The Lakers don't have that problem. And to your point, like,
I'm going to tell you right now, at this stage, Chris Paul ain't selling tickets either.
yeah. I mean, honestly,
if I'm in Charlotte, I'm not going to a game because Chris Paul
you're
is
going for LaMelo Ball. And I think NBA teams don't value their bench as much. Like Nick Smith Jr., remember that one night? He has, 25 points and wins the game for the Lakers?
Sure.
I feel like NBA teams, because coaches will shrink the bench to 8 guys or 10 guys at a max, like I'd much rather give a young guy a shot to prove itself. The Lakers have Nick Smith, but a guy like a Nick Smith, a guy like a Drew Timme, who the Lakers brought up, like who could become something. Not that I think he's going to become a star, but give those guys a shot versus a 40-year-old player who is not going to be here past this year.
I'm going to give you an example, and then we'll move on from this topic. And I think you and I are both on the same page of this. And to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of other people who kind of are chiming in the same way. I don't think they want to see CP3 in
Richard.
here.
Yes.
But let me give you another good example of just like players that you want to see potentially. I thought Jordan Goodwin was a great example last year of getting an opportunity, kind of proving himself out of nowhere. You see players right now in the NBA. We just saw it against Phoenix on Monday. Colin Gillespie gets opportunities, and like there are really talented players that are on two-way contracts that are super athletic or young that add something to your team that you need. And by the way, I mean, I'm not telling you that the Lakers have, one of my concerns with the Lakers is depth. I just don't think CP3 is going to be that solution. So wherever he goes, maybe there's a great place for him. I don't think it's with the Lakers. So, there's something right there. Okay. So let's kind of keep moving here. You did a preview video, Lakers and the Raptors. No Luka tonight, no Marcus Smart. Smart we're accustomed to a little bit here. Unfortunately disappointing. I think the Smart thing is, at least through the first couple of months of the season, is playing out the way we thought it could play out. One of two things were going to happen to Marcus Smart. He's going to be Marcus Smart, or he's not going to be available. So far, he hasn't been available. No Luka tonight. How do Lakers make this competitive against a Raptors team that's they're not bad? Listen, I'm not telling you they're going to go run away with the East, but they're a playoff team, and they could give some teams some headaches. And who knows if they're going to be in contention with some of these other teams as far as trying to make some trades. So how do you keep this competitive without Luka?
The offense got to go through Austin Reeves. I kind of got into my preview video. I'm curious about LeBron. Did not have a good night Monday night. Been a little bit more passive, which I think with Luka and Reeves actually works because he's a bit more of a passer. I'm curious if he takes on a more aggressive role tonight, but I think it needs to go through Reeves. Reeves at this point has proven through the season he needs to be the guy with the ball in his hand. And one thing I'm looking for, 22 turnovers against Phoenix. That can't happen. Luka talked about it. Reeves was talking about it. The Suns were top 5 in deflections. The Raptors are 3rd in deflections, getting their hand in the passing lane. And
they're big. They're length. All these guys got they're all the perfect wing players in the league.
And they're 5th in NBA defensive efficiency. So this team plays defense. The Suns play defense. The Lakers in their 7-game win streak were playing the Lakers have had some big wins this year, but in the 7-game win streak, we're playing some teams kind of toward the bottom of the league in defense. Not having Luka tonight, I'm curious who's going to take care of the basketball. Because to your point about the Raptors, I don't know if people got a chance to really watch Toronto a lot. Ingram, old friend Ingram, always like watching Ingram play.
I'm with you.
When he was a Laker. He's leading the team in scoring with about 22. And Scotty Barnes might be the best kept secret in the NBA. Dude's averaging 21 a game, leads the team in steals per game and blocks per game as a guard and a forward. This team is big. Emmanuel Quickly's been great. RJ Barrett will not be playing tonight. He's kind of their third of their quote big three, you would say. So that's a big loss for them. I think though this is a DeAndre Ayton game. Jacob or Pirtle will not be playing, the former San Antonio Spur. They don't have a lot of bigs, but to what you were saying, they're very good at the forward spot. If the Lakers win this game, I think we're looking at a 20-point night from DeAndre Ayton. If they don't win this game, I think we're looking at a 10-point night from DeAndre Ayton.
Okay, stay with this for a quick second. You mentioned the LeBron piece of this. So by the way, they're missing some good players as well. Stay with LeBron for a quick, because I started the show and I said one of the things I'm going to be watching very closely, if LeBron had a game on Monday where he shot 5 of 20 from the field and had 6 turnovers and just, shots weren't falling and he made some mistakes, I wouldn't care. It's like, it is what it is. No problem. The problem with LeBron on Monday is the biggest issue to me was, what am I watching? Like, I didn't feel like I was watching LeBron, that he looked so slow and he looked like his legs were so heavy and wasn't moving well at all. Forget the 3 of 10 from the field, but LeBron, you're accustomed to just kind of hitting all the stat line. I got assists, I got rebounds, he wasn't doing any of that. What are you, I guess, looking for tonight from LeBron? For me, I'm just trying to see, hey, can we just see a regular LeBron? I'm not a great LeBron. I just want to see a regular LeBron. If he has a similar night that he did on Monday, I would really have some concern about LeBron moving forward, and I'm very curious to see what kind of LeBron we get tonight.
I'm with you on that, because Monday, I'm not giving the Lakers a pass. It was a bad game. They didn't play well. The Suns punked them. You said it in your post game. You had this headline: the Suns punked them, and I completely agree. They were 7-game win streak. I think this is a fun weekend of Laker basketball. Like, I'm really excited for the Raptor game. Celtics, of course, the rivalry. In Philly, I think is one of the deep sleepers in the East. Edgecombe has been great. Like, these are 3 of the better teams in the Eastern Conference the Lakers are going to get to play. Feel like they took them a little bit lightly, especially after Booker goes out after the first quarter. But yeah, so I'm not going to panic on LeBron yet, but I'm with you. With no Luka tonight, you're figuring that he's going to be taking on a little bit more of an offensive role, a little bit more of a dominant role. And can he hit that gear? Because it's been very choppy. There's been a few moments in his 5 games back, that he's looked like the old LeBron, but there's been a lot of kind of waiting for it to happen. And maybe that's him trying to fit in with Luka and Reeves. But with no Luka tonight, you're expecting him to, be the old LeBron. And if he doesn't do it tonight on this road trip, then I'm with you. I think you start going, are we on the downside? Obviously he's on the downside, but are we declining fast in terms of LeBron?
Yeah, it's a fair question. So we're going to see what happens in regards to. Okay, real quick here, just while I got you, Lakers and the Celtics tomorrow. You said you were excited about this road trip. I'm with you. I think, listen, whether I know we're not talking the Knicks, I know we're not talking the Cavs, I know we're not talking Miami, Detroit. There's some other good teams in the Eastern Conference, but I do think this road trip's this road trip will be interesting. Boston is, don't be surprised or shocked. I'm not surprised that the Celtics play hard. I'm not surprised that the Celtics are well coached. It's a championship organization. What are you expecting tomorrow?
Listen, anytime Lakers Celtics get together is fun. In the Celtics, I think, are a lot better than people thought they were going to be this year.
I agree.
Quiet all the talk of, is Jaylen Brown a 1A player? He's averaging 30 points a game. He had 42 the other night against the Knicks. Fantastic. And I actually like what Celtics have done. Like, you get rid of Porzingis, Drew Holiday, kind of older players, very good players, but like kind of on the other end, you get a couple of really nice young players. Like Peyton Pritchard's taking on an elevator role, averaging about 17 a game. Derek White about 16. Anthony Simons, he's actually had some really big games against the Lakers before when he was with Portland. He's the 4th leading scorer. Keta's leading them in rebounds. They knew he was kind of coming up the pipeline to take over for Porzingis. So the Celtics, don't like him, but I got to give them some credit. They are they got younger. And I think, especially when you add Tatum back, we'll see if he comes back this year, recovering from that ACL injury. I think the Celtics actually kind of saved their roster a little bit for years to come. And then looking at Philly, Maxi's becoming a superstar, and that's because now he has a running buddy in VJ Edgecombe. If they somehow were able to offload that Paul George contract and Joel Embiid stayed healthy, that's a scary big 3 in the East that again, all hinges on him being healthy, Embiid. But I'm excited to see how they play this weekend.
Yeah, the problem with Philly is my issue with them is they have such a gap between the youngsters and the older guys, and really in a perfect world for Philly, I don't know how much longer the Embiid experiment's going to go, and I'm a fan of Joel Embiid, but I just don't know. We'll see what happens. I do think they got to keep him on the team, the Paul George piece of it, but you got these youngsters, you want them to just shine, and frankly, if I'm Philly, I'd rather see the youngsters than some of the older guys.
I want to see like Sunday, like hopefully Luka's back. I'm assuming he will be, but we don't know yet. Like Luka and Reeves versus Edgecombe and Maxey, like that's must watch TV in terms of if you're just a fan of guard play. Like I'm excited to see the Lakers play in the Eastern Conference because I think the Lakers are legit. The haters are going to say, well, look at the 7-game win streak. Look who they kind of beat up on. The next 3 games are a real opportunity, I think, to go, no, the Lakers are a legit good team and can beat good teams on the road.
Yeah, and by the way, I think it could be both. I think you could say it ain't easy to win 7 games in a row in the NBA, period. And by the way, one of those teams they beat was Dallas, and Dallas has now won a couple of games since they got Anthony Davis back, a couple of games in a row. And I think it's also good to say, all right, well, let's go see them against some of the better talent in the Eastern Conference over this next stretch of games. And then they get San Antonio when they come back for that quarterfinal game. One quick thing I'll just share with everybody here, because Shams just put it out a few minutes ago. Giannis expected to be sidelined for approximately 2 to 4 weeks with a right calf strain. So who knows? Maybe Giannis,
that's his agent going, your calf's tight. Can't play.
Maybe he's played his last game with the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll have to wait and see. Sammy, great stuff. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for breaking it down for us. And we'll get you, I know, later tonight or tomorrow morning. I know after Lakers Raptors.
I'll just love it tonight,
You'll get a Lakers Celtics preview game going as well, so keep an eye out for that.
All I want to say, thank you for having me on. I appreciate everyone in the chat. What I want though is if the Lakers get Giannis, I want you to be on a live stream once again and go viral from when you saw the Luka news, because I rewatch that like once a month and it makes me laugh every time. Your reaction, you're like, "Is this?" No, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it.
I still don't believe it. Even when I got all confirmations, I'm like, that's it. They have hacked everybody. Everybody's been hacked. ESPN's been hacked. Shams, everybody's been hacked.
It's the best.
All right, brother. Good stuff. And I will we'll talk to you soon, and we'll get your preview video out tonight. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
All right, that is Sammy Long right there. Good stuff from Sammy. That was fun. That was like I said a little bit earlier. I like that there were a lot of people that were out there and saying, it's Sammy back in here. I'm like, all right, okay. My apologies. Good stuff from Sammy right there. And obviously a little bit of a preview there for a couple of the games that are coming up. Okay. I got some comments that I highlighted a few of them that we're going to look at here for a quick second. We got some NBA news, and then we're going to get the hell out of here ourselves and enjoy the rest of our day. I know what you guys got going on the rest of the day, but yeah, listen, everybody's busy. We got stuff going on here. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. All right, why is that so loud? Relax there. Okay, a couple of the comments, and then I got a couple NBA news to get on here. People giving love to Sammy. Talking Giannis. I don't know about trading for Giannis with calf issues. I think everyone will line up to trade for Giannis if that's the case. If LeBron James wants to go to the Warriors, can the Lakers make a package to get Giannis? I don't think LeBron's going anywhere, nor do I think the Golden State Warriors at this point are trading for him. So I don't think that's happening anymore. A couple other people saying here, I don't like the fact that Giannis got calf issues. Here's another one. All right, we love Sammy here. Okay. Where's Vando Slee? He's got to get some opportunities tonight, don't you think? Lakers being short, not having Luka, a team you're going up to against that's, obviously young, athletic. You're going to need some defenders. Who guards Scotty Barnes? Who guards Brandon Ingram? Some of these guys. Maybe Vando gets his opportunity tonight. Still stuck on the 405. My brother, just pull over. At this point, pull over. Go work from a coffee shop. Tell wherever you're going. Say, guys, I'm going to a coffee shop. Going to a coffee shop. Okay, couple quick stories around the NBA here. I did mention this power rankings on ESPN. OKC number 1, Detroit number 2, Houston number 3, Denver number 4, Knicks number 5, Lakers moved to number 6 after that loss to the Phoenix Suns. So Lakers top 6 in the NBA. There was another story out there that I mentioned as well. I'm going to read this tweet that I think is interesting. Tim McMahon put this out yesterday. There's a belief among NBA front office insiders or front offices that LaMelo Ball, Ja Morant, and Trae Young, recent all-star point guards on max deals, could be available in the trade market. An East executive says they all might have negative value. How quick the mighty have fallen. Maybe not the mighty, but there was a lot of players out there in the past that had a lot of value, and now all of a sudden, a lot of these players, their value is dipping. Let's put it that way. All right, let's get a couple more comments in here, and then we are going to call it a day. By the way, great stuff today. Love the Chris Paul angles. Shout out to the members who came on at 7:15 and helped me with topics in regards to Chris Paul, in regards to Giannis, couple angles on LeBron. So shout out to all you guys for making that happen. I'm going to read a couple more comments. I'm going to get out of here. I got to get out of here a little bit sooner today. Is Smart as 5th player in 4th quarter in playoffs division? I just want to see Marcus Smart healthy. That's all. That's all. Nothing more than that. I just want to see Marcus Smart healthy. Seems like the Spurs have the most to offer Milwaukee in a trade. I'd say OKC's probably got a ton that they could offer as well. I think both of those franchises do. Giannis has good motivation to join LA due to his ability to partner with Luka and the Lakers' new ownership. That's an angle I'd be making if I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo, but you don't know what other factors fall into play. Somebody said earlier it doesn't help Giannis's case that he's joining a Knicks franchise that hasn't won a championship since the 70s. I disagree. I think he was accustomed to that in Milwaukee, and I think he could kind of take on that burden and know that one championship in New York is equal to 3 or 5 championships in LA. Not literally, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's how long it's been since they've won one. All right, my people. OKC would be foolish to break up that squad. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, if you're OKC, do you do anything? I don't think you do anything. I think you kind of just let everybody else overreact, and you keep your squad together and see what you build from there. Everybody's young. You're going to be in the mix every single year. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Always a pleasure talking Lakers basketball, talking NBA hoops with you. I'm back on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm back on tonight after the Lakers take on the Toronto Raptors. Looking forward to breaking down the post-game show for you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your morning. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Shout out to Sammy Long, and thank you to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Have a great rest of your morning.